What's going on, you guys? Tyler, Rhiannon, therapist here. I know it's been a while since I've been on with many things. I just want to get on and share a simple thought that's been kind of on my mind for a couple of weeks now. And it's a shout out to my wife, actually. My wife, Rhiannon, she participated in a 50-mile race a couple of weeks ago. It was the kind of thing that she set a target for several months ago towards the first of the year. And I thought she was crazy for setting that target. She had never really done anything like it before. She'd never even done more than a half marathon, and now she'd signed up for a 50-mile race, which is almost 2 marathons, 2 full marathons. And not only that, but it was a trail race that had about 11,000 feet of elevation gain. So this is like in certain sense, like a death march. But she set the target. She started training in January, and just a couple of weeks ago, she actually ran this race. And I watched her do it, and I was a part of the team trying to help the whole time, but I was just struck and in awe of watching her overcome some of the challenges that she faced in the preparation leading up to it, and also on race day, and just the power of the human spirit to overcome obstacles. There were a couple of times in the race with other runners where I was watching this happen too, where they would look like they're about ready to crash, and then somebody would offer a kind word, or somebody would give a little bit of encouragement or a little bit of like sustenance with snacks or something, and then the runner would kind of get this new life and they'd pick up and they would leave. And there was one particular part in the race with my wife's race where she kind of got to this breaking point where the physical started to break, which then caused the emotional stuff to start happening. And my wife kind of had this emotional release with a whole bunch of other things that she's been carrying. And she was about mile 40 and worried that she might not be able to make it because physically things were just really, really breaking at that point, because that's what happens when you're on a race, when you go 50 miles. And she was able to kind of let that emotion move and release, and then she was there to get some encouragement from my daughter and my son-in-law, and she was able to get a little bit of a break and a breather and a reset. And then she could have gone just back down the mountain where she'd come from a mile or two and go back to the aid station and just be done, or she could keep going for another 10 miles. And at that point, no one would have blamed her for going back down the mountain, but instead she found something deep inside. She found a little bit of extra, and she started 1 foot at a time, and she finished the last 10 miles. And as a husband, number one, I was just so proud of her to see her just give everything. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world to just see somebody in whatever arena they're in life, whether it's a sporting arena, whether it's a therapy arena, whether it's a family arena. When I see somebody step into the arena of life and fully give all of their effort, it's like my favorite thing in the whole world. Whether they win or they lose, it's the full effort and the whole heart on display that is just a miraculous thing to see. And when you have a loved one that you get to see that, and you get to see them hit what you think is their wall, and then break through and realize that there's something even more on the other side of that wall, it was a pretty special thing. I've always known my wife had moxie, and my wife has toughness, and my wife sticks to it. And our marriage is evidence of that. She's stuck with me for all these years. We're going into our 24th year right now. And she's stuck through a lot of things with me. But I didn't know. I got to see it on display, how much moxie she really has and how much heart she really has. And I love seeing that in the human spirit. And the truth is that for every one of us, any one of you watching this, it's inside of you too, that when you think you're broken, you're actually just getting started. There's so much more inside of you, and there's so much more to you than even you give yourself credit for. And when you run up against those walls in your life and you feel like it's time to stop, sometimes all it needs is a little bit of movement of emotion. Sometimes all it needs is a little bit of encouragement. Sometimes all it needs is a tiny little reset. And then you look up and you take one more step and you keep going, and you find that there is so much more depth to you than you've given yourself credit for. And that is true of the human condition. That is true of the human spirit, and it's true in your life as well. So whatever you're running into, I believe that you're capable of not only conquering the thing that's in front of you, but understanding that there is a reservoir of something more to you, that when you press yourself against those challenging places, you will find it, and you'll unlock powers inside of yourself that you didn't know were there. So best of luck to you. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you found this to be valuable for you, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you're facing particular struggles that you need help with, or roadblocks that you're running into, please submit a question. I'd be happy to answer it for you.